Today, talking with Chuck Stearns, the city clerk and the finance officer. We're going to be talking to him about paper consumption, waste, and recycling. Approximately how much money do you spend on paper per year?
Well, it's hard to say exactly because paper goes into a large number of the products, but just I was adding some numbers up before, and it looked somewhere around $30,000 to $40,000 a year. No formal policies have been adopted along those lines.
Do you have any strong recycling programs in any copy rooms?
Yeah, I would say probably by every copy machine, maybe with some differences in some of the outlying locations, but I think certainly in City Hall and most locations, by every copy machine there's a recycling box to put waste paper in for recycling. So hopefully, except for colored paper, all of the copy machine paper that's not used goes into recycling. And we, in City Hall here and the fire department here, we recycle white paper, newspaper, and green bar computer paper, as well as aluminum cans and plastic pop bottles. So about the only thing we haven't been recycling that's got some kind of market would be colored paper. And that was just at the suggestion of Montana Recycling that we start out with white only and separate the white. And if we want to get into colored paper, we can. But there's not that much colored paper going through here.
How much?
We try to encourage everybody to use double-sided copies as much as possible and to limit as much as they can making copies by circulating one copy as opposed to making 10 copies or one copy for everyone in the office. But no formal policies have been adopted along those lines.
I heard you have like a sheet of ways you can recycle and where and when.
Yeah, and we've posted that. We gave each department a copy of that to begin with, and then we've posted it often around the copy machines, and we can go in there and see if we've got them posted up there by our copy machine when we leave. And I keep a copy in my file here so that if anyone wants information on ways to either reduce copying or reduce the number of copies or recycle their products, we do it.
Nichols, and we're here for a Sussex School paper consumption project. We're here with Fred Rice, who is the Personnel EEO officer.
We're going to be interviewing Fred Rice on paper consumption in his office.
Paper do you think you use in your office in a week?
Ooh, in a week. Several reams of paper in a week.
Approximately how much do you spend on paper per year?
We probably spend several $1,000s.
You say a ream. How many sheets are in a ream?
500 sheets to a ream.
Do you know what % of the paper you buy is recycled?
We are using a paper now in our copy machine that is recycled, and I'm not sure exactly what the percentage of that is. I think it's like 50% end user recycled paper. It's a pretty high percentage.
How much email do you think will save paper?
For us, not much, unfortunately. I have a motto that says paper 3 and 93, but the state won't let us get away from having paper copies of a lot of the documents that we produce.
Do you have any limit on your copying per week or per day?
We don't have a limit. Unfortunately, we don't, because of the nature of the job that we do here, we have to support the entire organization. We don't have a lot of control over what the organization will demand of us at a given week.
So do you know how many copies you make per week?
Well, again, it depends. Like this week, it's been a pretty light week. We probably only made a few hundred copies, but next week and the weeks after that we'll be doing hundreds, if not thousands, of copies because of job recruitments and various kinds of activities that we'll be involved in. So,
Have any sort of paper recycling program in this office?
okay, what we try to do is, for instance, just happen to have on my desk all these books over here are basically updated on a biweekly basis, and all the paper that comes in is basically white paper. We recycle all of that. I get copies of almost everything that's related to personnel that goes through our office. What we don't file, we recycle, because most of it comes in on plain white paper. We try to use predominantly plain white paper for our communications because right now the market for colored paper is not good, and it's too difficult for the recyclers in Missoula right now to deal with it, so we do that. I save catalogs, phone books, and things like that in the other room as long as I have the ability to do that, and then periodically when, for instance, the phone company has a recycling program, when they bring out the new directories, we just take all those sorts of things and let them have the recycled directories. I think the office now uses less paper than it did some years ago, just because I don't particularly look forward to having a large amount of paper lying around, but the nature of the job is such that we use a lot. What we can recycle, we do.
Is there any way, do you think, that you could recycle maybe a little bit more?
Well, I think there's always opportunities to do more. The problem that we have is that the systems that are in place in City Hall right now allow us to recycle aluminum cans, glass, newsprint, and white paper. There's obviously, that doesn't cover the full range of things that we do. For instance, there's everything from coffee grounds and coffee filters, which can be composted, and all kinds of things like that. We could really, I think, do a lot more than we do. The problem is getting a system in place that people will use that's convenient. If what we have in almost every office, I don't have one in here, but we have 2 boxes in the other room that we just take our white paper and deposit it into. Not every office does that. For instance, you know, at least 2 within walking distance of our little boxes with white paper that could just take their white paper and dump it in, but generally it goes into the wastebasket. The only things that go into our wastebaskets here are colored papers, glossy paper, and coffee grounds. And I believe all those things could be recycled.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's going to sum up our interview with paper consumption with Fred Rice.
Still be, I think, adequate.
Here we are looking at the copy machine.
How many pounds of paper per year do you think you use?
20.
The correct answer is 580 pounds per year an average person uses. Sure. How many pounds of paper do you think you use per year?
In my work, I think I probably, in my work or my private life,
Average person.
the average person, I think, probably uses over 200 pounds of paper a year.
You're correct. It's 580.
Well, that,
Pounds.
you know what that tells me?
What?
We should all do everything we can to recycle that paper.
You're absolutely right, sir. Thanks for your time.